We're here to have a little chat for half an hour or so with one of the great names of Hollywood. He was in fact the number one selling star in 1941 in Hollywood. He's made over 350 movies. He's got 2 Oscars to his name. He's got 5 Oscar nominations. He's got Emmys. He's got every award, Peabody Award, every award you can name. This man is the epitome of the halcyon days of Hollywood. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome him once more, Mr. MickeyRooney. Mickey, good to have you here. There's your microphone, my dear friend.
It's a pleasure to be with you, John.
It's a pleasure to have you.
We want to thank our great captain, Fabio Ramitrango.
Hey, he's a good guy, isn't he?
He's running the ship like a hotel.
He's up there now. He's up there with his billions.
Everybody's having a nice cruise, I suppose.
Yeah.
That's good. Do you cruise
pleasure to be with you. What?
Do you cruise much yourself?
Well, I beg your pardon?
Do you take cruises, man? Oh.
Yes, Jan and I, we love to go on and meet new people, say hi.
You're here all too short because you're leaving us in Bombay. Is it something we said?
Well, no, but we have to get back. We're going to do our show in the United States, so we have to get back.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about your shows a little bit later on, but for now, let's take you back right to the very beginning, because you had no other choice but to be in entertainment, did you?
Well, my father and mother were in show business. They were in burlesque, and you might say I was born in burlesque, you know, and I went out on the stage when I was about a year old.
A year old?
A year old, and I had to sneeze because the rosin from the stage got into my nose, and I went like, shoo! My father turned around. He was doing a bootleg scene.
That was in Chicago, wasn't it?
No, I don't. I think it was in St. Louis.
Oh, St. Louis.
Yeah.
And you were just a kid of a year, and your dad was on the stage working.
Right. He was from Scotland, and I'm of Scottish background.
Yeah.
And he was born in Glasgow.
He was in Glasgow,
Scotland.
Yeah.
And
what was his name, Mickey?
Joe Yule.
Joe Yule.
And I was Joe Yule.
Joe Yule Jr.
Right.
Yeah.
For many years.
And what did your mom do?
She was a chorus girl, and she was a tiny little lady.
Oh yeah, that's where you get your statue from,
Yes,
then, huh?
but she was, well, my father wasn't very tall.
Yeah.
But the fact is, it's not how tall you are, it's what you do with it.
It's the old saying, isn't it?
That's right, and I was out on the stage, and my father heard me sneeze, and he says, "What are you doing back there?" I said, he said, "What's that around your neck?" And I had one of those 3 notes, harmonica. And he said, "It's my monica." He says, "Can you play it for us?" And I went, and everybody laughed, like everybody's laughing here today. And so I thought I was going to get a whipping when I got off the stage, but my mother was over there on the side of the stage, and I said, "Oh boy, I'm going to get it." And Ted Zeisler, who was the manager of the troupe, said, "Why don't you leave the kid in the act? He can walk and talk and everything else." He says, "Why don't you leave him in the act?" So they made a tuxedo for me. I was 2 years old. And I still have it.
Still get into it,
No, but I was billed as Sonny Yule, and I was in show business thereafter for a while. 2 days after I was born, we were on the road, and I think I've been on the road ever since.
Ever since, yeah. What kind of a childhood could you have had, though?
Well, believe it or not, we went to Kansas City. My Aunt Edna was in Kansas City, and we went there, and I came from a very poor family, and we didn't have anything. I mean, nothing. We were lucky to have cream of wheat in the morning for breakfast, and my cousin.
You must have been about 9 or 10 at the time of the Great Depression, weren't you?
Yes, I was, but you're a little ahead of me here.
Yeah, okay.
So anyway, my mother said she had separated from my father, and of course later on in the years they became very good friends, and that's the way it should be. And she said, "Let's try our luck in Hollywood." So we went to Hollywood, California, and
you and your mom?
Right, And I went into Mickey McGuire comedies, and I made about 150 of those. We made them in 2 days. And I was called Mickey McGuire. These were in the silent days. But of course, the first picture I ever made was with, when I went to Hollywood, was Orchids and Ermine with B.B. Daniels.
That was your first movie?
Yes, it was.
How old were you then?
3. And then I think you're sitting with a fellow that the only one could say that he worked actually in a picture with Will Rogers.
Will Rogers.
Right, the county chairman.
Yeah.
I was 6 when I went with him.
How much do you remember of that?
Well, not very much, but I can tell you about what happened, because I don't remember what the story was about, but that was too long ago. But, and then of course, Mickey Mouse, I told you about that.
Well, Walt Disney named Mickey Mouse after you.
That's right. I was doing the Mickey McGuire comedies, and they changed my name to Mickey McGuire. Sonny Yule, now Mickey McGuire. My legal name was Mickey McGuire. So I went to lunch one day, and my mother had given me a nickel to get a sandwich. You could get a sandwich in those days for a nickel. Those were the days, I guess. But there was a rickety old studio called the Darmore Studios in Melrose Avenue. And so we went to lunch, and I saw this silhouette in these rickety old offices. And I poked my head in, and I said, "Hello, who's there?" He says, "Who are you?" I said, "I'm Mickey McGuire. What is your name, sir?" He says, "My name is Walt Disney." I said, "Well, glad to know you." He says, "Come in, Mickey, I want to show you something." So I went in, he said, "Sit on my lap," and I said, he showed me a picture of a mouse. I said, "Gee, that's a terrific mouse. What do you call him, Mr. Disney?" He says, "Mortimer Mouse." Mortimer Mouse. I said, "That's a wonderful mouse." He said, "Thanks, Mickey." And he stopped. He said, Mickey. "How would you like it if I named this mouse after you and called him Mickey Mouse?" I said, "I'd be happy about that, but right now I gotta go get a cheese sandwich."
The nickel cheese sandwich was more important to you that time.
That's right.
Yeah. Wow. That's a great story. Mickey Mouse named after you.
And then, of course, I chose the new name for Marilyn Monroe.
Well, let's get into that. Let's get into that because we're talking about the real early days. Because you wanted to be in Our Game, the TV show.
No. That was a different thing. Max Sennett had those. Well, that's where Charlie Chaplin started too.
Yeah.
And I was with Charlie Chaplin at his home.
Yeah.
In Beverly Hills one day, and he said, "Come in, Mickey, I want to play his tune I just wrote," because he wrote all the music for his pictures. And so he had this tremendous organ, beautiful pipe organ, and he said, "Sit down, I'd like to play you this, see if you like this song." And he played me a song that went, "Smile when you're feeling low, smile." You know, one of the great songs of all times. Yeah. And Jan sings that in her show.
Yeah. Amazing. You know all the greats, didn't you?
Well, yes, Douglas Fairbanks Jr. and Mary Pickford. I received the Pickford Award about 2 years ago, and I'm a lucky fellow.
Yeah. When those two got together, Douglas Fairbanks and Mary Pickford,
Douglas Fairbanks Jr., I did a picture with him.
You did a picture with him?
Yes, I did. I was about 7 years old.
Yeah. But they had a big home called Pick Fair, didn't they?
Pick Fair, right.
Yeah, in Bel Air. Did you ever go up there?
Yes, it's still there.
Still there?
Adele Rogers, I think, still has it. Buddy Rogers' wife now,
Yeah.
I said.
Yeah. So then where did we go from Mickey McGuire to MickeyRooney?
Well, Fontaine Fox, who had the cartoon, Mickey McGuire, the trolley, told me I couldn't use the name any longer. And he took me to court, and so I went back to Sonny Yule, and then somebody at Universal Studios said, "We've got to change your name. It can't be Sonny Yule," and I'm glad they got rid of Mickey McGuire. But I like Mickey. I said, "Well, thank you." He said, "But how about Rooney? MickeyRooney."
Where did that come from?
Well, I don't know. It just came from out of the air. And I've been MickeyRooney ever since.
Now tell us about you signing for MGM Studios, because they didn't want you at the beginning, did they?
Well, I think, pardon?
The MGM Studios, they didn't really want you at the beginning.
Oh, yes, they did. David O'Selznick brought me to...
But didn't you...
I was a ping pong champion of California.
Ping pong champion?
Yes, I was. The state of California. And that's when ping pong parlors were all over the place. And I used to go to Pasadena at the Civic Auditorium and play in tournaments there. And Amanda Correa was in it, wonderful. And Billy Weisbach and all of the great ping pong players of the world. And we went there, and David O'Selznick was watching the matches there, and he saw me, and I got the audience laughing a little bit between so-and-so, and he said, "Mickey, I'm going to take you to meet Louis B. Mayer."
But Louis wasn't happy about that.
Oh, yes, he was. Why is it you say he wasn't happy? I kept that studio from going bankrupt.
I know, but didn't you make that movie Manhattan... Melodrama?
Yes, but I got news for you. That was one of the first ones after they put me under contract.
And then he put you under contract.
Right.
I saw that movie, yeah.
And that picture was the same picture that John Dillinger saw.
He was watching it when they shot it in the cinema.
That's right.
Yeah. You could have been the last face he ever saw.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I got news for you. It was Clark Gable is a magnificent wizard. They don't have stars like Clark Gable any longer.
Yeah.
No, really. You know, he was what they call a leading man. And Errol Flynn.
Yeah.
Errol Flynn was a friend of mine.
Yeah.
And what a swashbuckler he was.
So
who could forget Olivia de Havilland? Olivia de Havilland and I did A Midsummer Night's Dream at the Hollywood Bowl when I was 14 years old.
Yeah.
And that's when I became interested in wonderful symphonic music.
Yeah.
And I wrote a symphony called Melodante.
You wrote the symphony?
Yes, in 3 movements. And I fell right on the floor for Ravel.
Yeah.
And for Massenet.
Yeah.
And for all of the great composers that we have today.
Well, in those early years, 1930s, you quickly rose to fame. I mean, your energy and your enthusiasm, your youthfulness, it really took the country by storm, didn't it?
Well, I think it was lucky. Because they placed me in pictures that, they didn't ask you if you wanted to do a picture, they placed you in the pictures that you did. I did National Velvet later on with Elizabeth Taylor. I did the Andy Hardy series. I did 22 Andy Hardy series.
Yeah.
I was the Rambo of my day.
And what kind of money did you get paid? Because if you were on contract, you were paid a salary every year.
Yes, $300.
$300 a week.
Sure. Well, don't forget, in those days, $300 was $300.
So how many movies did you have to make a year for that $300 a week?
Well, I think I had made as many as 6.
6 a year?
6 a year, Judy Garland. We did the musicals.
Yeah.
Strike Up the Band.
How did you first meet you two?
Well, we met at a professional school on Hollywood Boulevard. Her name was Frances Gum. And they changed her name to Judy Garland. And I took her to the premiere of The Wizard of Oz in New York, and everybody thought it was a flop. Well, that'll show you what happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
But The Wizard of Oz was magnificent. Ray Bolger, and the Scarecrow, and this and that. It's a traditional picture, I think, without any doubt. And then being at Metro, I was there with William Powell, Myrna Loy. They were doing The Thin Man.
Yeah.
And
you've been brought up since a kid in this business. Did you ever feel like overawed about these names that you work with, Clark Gable and people like this?
Well, no, but I got news for you. These are all very natural, wonderful people.
They were, weren't they?
Yes, they were.
Yeah.
That was their job, and they did it.
Yeah.
But it was great. And the people you got to meet, I met Henry Ford and Edsel Ford when I was 16. I did Edison the boy.
Right, yeah.
And Spencer Tracy did Edison the Man. And Mr. Ford asked me if I'd like to have a new car.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I'd be telling an untruth if I didn't. So he said, would you like a blue one? I said, oh yes, Mr. Ford, I'd love that. He said, with a gray top? I said, don't stop now. He said, and blue upholstery? I said, gee, that sounds terrific. Well, he says, you'll have it. We dropped it right then. I didn't know what he meant by that. And about 3 months later, when I was in California, somebody from the Ford company in Long Beach came in and said, Mickey, I said, yes, here's the keys to your new Lincoln Continental. And I had the first one that was ever off the boat and off the line. And it had a plaque to MickeyRooney from his friend, Henry Ford.
So where's that car now, Mickey?
That's gone.
Gone.
That was gone in a divorce. Yes. Ava Gardner. Ava was my first wife and divorce. She was a wonderful girl. We still remain friends. She became a big star at Metro. And well, it just didn't last. And it was an unhappy thing. I think that the great thing about it now is that I've got Jan.
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
Yeah.
I mean, without Jan, I wouldn't be with you all this afternoon.
Well, it's all
I love her with all my heart.
We'll bring Jan on in a few minutes and
Yes,
have a
you
chat
bet.
with Jan. Yeah.
And you know, everybody talks about Elizabeth Taylor, you know, well, she's been married 8 times.
Absolutely right. Yeah.
And that's unfortunate because she's a wonderful woman, but she just seems to have never found happiness. Jen and I get a card from her every Christmas.
Yeah.
And she never forgets. And, well, I think you know the story about Elizabeth. She's Dame Elizabeth Taylor.
Dame Elizabeth Taylor, no, yes, she is. Yeah.
And
But those early wives of yours, Mickey, didn't you once describe them in racing parlance as like sprinters? They came flashing out of the gate, but they couldn't stay the distance.
well, the fact is, I think that you're not right there. It's an unhappy time.
Yeah.
Nothing fun about it.
No.
And Olivia de Havilland now lives in Paris.
She named one of our ships a couple of years ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what a wonderful lady she is.
Yeah.
And she did a lot of pictures with Errol Flynn
Right.
after Warner Brothers put her under contract. And Warner Brothers, RKO,
Yeah. You were just 19.
Universal, they've seemed to have all disappeared.
Yeah, well, you were 19 when you first got your first Oscar, weren't you?
Yes, I believe I was.
Yeah.
Yes, I did, for Boys.
Right.
And then I was nominated for the Black Stallion
Yep.
that I made in Toronto, Canada.
And from 1939, you were the number
Francis
one.
Ford Coppola did that,
Francis Ford Coppola.
the Black Stallion, yes.
But from 1939, you were the number one star in Hollywood, weren't you?
Yes, in the world.
In the world, exactly.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's
And then
amazing.
came the war.
And then I joined in the Second World War.
Yeah. What? You were in the traveling Jeep show, right?
No, not right away.
Okay.
And we were, Abe and I had separated, and I felt terrible, like anybody would. And it's a wonderful thing to know that even though you've been in pictures and this and that you're not treated with a special kind of a thing. I mean, I was a private in the great United States Army, and I was proud to do that. And every one of the men knew that I was. I pulled KP, Kitchen Police, and did all of the things I was supposed to do, because that's what you do when you're in the Army.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. And of course, unfortunately, the Second World War came along, and there was a catastrophe, and I was in the Battle of the Bulge,
Yeah.
and I was there that day when General Patton, I was with Patton's 6th Army for 5 weeks, that we were attached. All of these people went over, not as entertainers, but we were attached to different units. And I was there when General Patton apologized to the fellow that he had slapped. And it was quite, I was at the Nuremberg trial,
Yeah.
near the ending of there, and...
But just assigned to it, just assigned to the trials?
No, I went as a unit reporter to see what I could see and find out what I could find out. And it'll be in your memory forever and ever. Yeah.
Well, 1939, you were the #1 in the world. The war came, you went to war a boy, you came back a man. What did it do for your career?
Well, you don't look at things that way. You let things happen. And somebody had a picture for me, and I did for David Selznick. He always had the yen for me anyway, and Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer had seen its better days, and Mr. Mayer had let a lot of Joan Crawford and a lot of people. God, all of these wonderful names that are no longer with us.
No.
But the fact is that I played Dick the Bootblack in, what the heck was that picture with Freddie Bartholomew that he did over there? I can't remember all the names.
Well, you made 350. How could you remember them all?
Well, I'd like to forget a few of them. Not too bad. But I think it's a mad world.
Yeah.
It was a funny picture, and everybody enjoyed that.
A lot of big names in
Yes, Jonathan Winters, Jack Benny,
Yes.
Jerry Lewis. Gosh, it was, and then of course Spencer Tracy. We were all trying to find the treasure under the big W. And well, we finally found it, but it was a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun making that picture.
Tell us about the Andy Hardy years.
Well, everybody wants to hear about that, but I made a lot of pictures after the Andy Hardy pictures.
Yeah.
Louis Stone was my father, and it was like a family thing. George Seitz was the director, and he directed most of them. And we'd do man-to-man talks. That would be, the dialogue would be 15, 18 pages.
Right.
And we'd look at it in the morning and shoot it in an hour. And Louis Stone, oh, what a fine gentleman he was.
How did you find the transition, Mickey, from the 30s when you were making happy-go-lucky musicals to the 50s and into the 60s when the whole scene kind of changed and became more serious, didn't it?
Yeah, well, I did The Big Wheel, where I drove a car at Indianapolis. And then I did The Fireball, where I was a skater.
Yeah.
And
And the one I remember us mentioning the other day, Bridges at Toqueree. When
The Bridges of Toqueree with Grace Kelly and Frederick March.
I told him I cried. When you got killed there at the end of the movie, I cried. I was a kid and I cried.
Well, that was quite an experience. We made that in Yokohama, Japan, with the 7th Fleet. So you can see that a lot of wonderful things can come your way by being in this business, which I think is a great business.
Now you discovered
there for you folks. That's you made us.
And a lot of people forget that, Mickey. A lot of people forget it's the audience that makes...
Why, certainly, you bet it is.
Yeah. You've made a lot of big names, though. You discovered a lot of big people, didn't you?
Yes, I told you that. Red Skelton, I brought to, and Frank Sinatra.
Tell us about the story, how you found Frank.
Well, he was singing at the Palladium with Tommy Dorsey's band. I guess everybody don't know anything but banjos today, or guitars. These were the days of the bands. Horace Heidt, Kay Kaiser, Denny Goodman.
Wow.
It's too bad that our youth has missed all that.
Yeah. Well, but Frank was there and you saw Frank
Frank
singing?
and we became friends, and he was staying at the Hollywood Hotel, and he was rooming with a trombonist, another guy, because Tommy had 4 trombones in the band, and I knew that he was a great singer, and I knew that he had that's something that could make him a great actor.
Yeah.
And I told Mr. Mayer about him, and he said, well, have him come over to the studio, Mickey. So I brought Frank over, and the rest is history. Yeah.
You named Marilyn
Monroe.
Yeah.
Yes. I was at she arrived by helicopter, and she wore the dress, and that's all. And everybody went, oh, wow. And they were all around her, and I said, no, come with me. And I got in the car, and people said, oh, there goes Rooney. And I said, she said, where do you want to go? I said, oh, I'd like to go back to your apartment for a while if we could talk. She said, well, all right. So we went back, and she said, what do you want to talk about? I said, I think we've got to change your name from Norma Jean to, I said, Marilyn. Marilyn should be your first name, because Marilyn Miller was a big star in her day. Do you remember that name, Marilyn Miller?
I heard about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, she was a big star. And the phone rang at that time.
Yeah.
And it was my friend Monroe Manning, who used to write scripts with me. And I said, Monroe, I'm talking to somebody now. Can I call you back? I don't want to be rude, but I'll call you back. He said, sure, Mick. And I hung up the phone, and I stopped like Disney did. He said, what's the matter, Mickey? I said, I was just talking to your last name. She said, what's that? I said, you got to have your name changed to Marilyn Monroe. And that's how it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing
Yes,
stories.
it is. And then Nat King Cole, found him at Jim Otto's, and I wanted to tell the people at Capitol Records that he was a great singer, and of course, that's history too.
Yeah.
He made a record of a tune that I wrote called Little Christmas Tree,
Uh-huh.
and I'm forever grateful.
Yeah.
Yes. Jan is a songwriter herself,
Yeah.
and anyway, you know, I did a picture called Drive a Crooked Road, and Colonel Dudley J. LeBlanc had a thing called Had a Call.
Yeah.
That was an ounce of vitamin E and the rest, and 6 ounces of alcohol. And he campaigned with us, Had a Call, and he said, it'll cure everything.
Yeah.
From arthritis, dizzy spells, so on, so on, so on. Well, after you had a couple of drinks of the Hadacol, you felt, there was no pain.
That's
And, but the people stopped him, and he was the fellow that brought Colonel Parker and Elvis Presley. And Elvis Presley, that's the first person he worked for, was Colonel W. J. LeBlanc. Yes. And you've got to be careful of colonels and this and that, so if they aren't really, you know.
That's right.
But anyway, I think everybody will remember. But any time that I would open, Elvis would always send me a letter, and he'd say, or a telegram, and he'd say, best of luck, Mick, your friend Elvis. And then when I did The Comedian, with Playhouse 90, they don't have those things anymore. And I did it with Edmund O'Brien and the wonderful singer Mel Torme.
also made it.
And the Meltones, he played my brother, and I slapped him around, and we went on. John Frankenheimer directed it, and it was 90 minutes. Once you went on the air, you didn't stop for anything. Sets were moved, cameras placed, this and that, and you went in and you knew your lines. When I got home, I got a telegram, and it said, "Thanks for the acting lesson, Paul Muni." Well, you know, there are a lot of great honors. I've met presidents.
Yeah. You must have met every president since the 1930s, huh?
Well, no, I'm very honored to have met Franklin Delano Roosevelt at the White House, and he was a big fan of the Andy Hardy pictures. And he told me a story, and it won't take too long. He said, "You see that curtain over there?" I said, yes, Mr. President." He says, "I saw it rattling the other day." And I said, "Who's there?" And out stepped a little fellow about 9 years old. I was 15. And he said, "What's your name?" He says, "My name's Billy." He says, "How long have you been there, Billy?" He says, 4 days. He said, 4 days? You must be hungry. Do you know where you live? He said, yes. He says, well, your family must be very worried about you. So he rang a button, and one of the FBI men came in, started a button. He said, "Oh no, this is my friend Billy. I want you to give him a sandwich and a glass of milk, and then drive Billy home." Well, he had the sandwich and he left. And his face was all smudged up and this and that. The next day, everybody at the White House was replaced. Does that tell that story?
Yeah. Everyone was replaced.
Replaced.
Yeah.
If a 9-year-old
could get into the White House,
could stay there for 4 days when nobody knew about it.
The security wasn't up to much. Get rid of them all, yeah.
And that was that story. I think it was very, very interesting.
Yeah.
And then President Nixon, I knew, and the awful thing that he went through with Watergate, and President Truman, I knew him, and he was from Kansas City.
Yeah.
And then President Bush, and then his son later.
You've seen them all. You were talking about the great names of Hollywood, though, in very fond terms, but there must have been one or two that were a real pain in the ass, huh? There must have been.
I don't know what you're getting at. You want me to say yes, don't you?
Yeah, sure.
Well, I've got news for you. I didn't meet any.
You didn't meet any?
In the Osses. No. They were all wonderful people who were proud to do what they do.
That's great.
And I'm proud to have been in this business.
And I think that reflects as much as your attitude as it is to these guys that you work with as well.
Well, I hope so, because
you have a special attitude to life, don't you?
You know, I think my wife and our family has that to go. I have 7 sons, 4 daughters, and 3 grandchildren, 2 great-great-grandchildren, and 2 great-great-great-grandchildren. And so it's quite a big family.
Yeah. You've got to bring them all on the cruise next time.
Well, I've got news for you. A lot of them are young, you know that. And Chris just had his first son. He has 2 girls, and now he has our grandson, Hunter.
Yeah.
And he tries to call him every day. It's awful tough to call
the
ship.
Because Chris now manages you, right?
No, he produces it. Nobody manages.
Nobody manages MickeyRooney. Okay.
He shouldn't do that. No, but he does a lot of work for us, and we can't. He doesn't work for us. He's our family.
Yeah.
And but we're proud of Chris.
Yeah. Well, let's meet the other half of the Rooney family.
Yes.
This lovely lady, a bride of 30 years, huh?
That's right.
Let's bring her on right now. Jen, where are you? Jen Timberlake, come on through, mother. Jen, there she is. I think you might have nodded off back there.
There she is.
Come and see that some good work, man. So come and see that work. Okay, but these are...
Sit next to it.
That's right, you sit there. You've warmed up the chairs now, it's fine.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Where's your mic, honey? You didn't...
Don't sit on your mic, that's the last one we've got.
Howdy!
So how do you put up with this incorrigible fellow?
It's not easy. I think the way I've been able to deal with it all these years, probably other women would share the same sentiment. Having separate bathrooms does the trick. Hi, gals? That'll do it.
Tell us how you met, Jen.
Well, I was born in Hollywood, and I met him in Hollywood at a party one day. Actually, it was an afternoon gathering, a luncheon, and I wasn't too keen on going to that party. I had 2 boys I was raising, and I thought, I gotta get them ready for school tomorrow. It's Sunday night, and maybe I better not go. And someone talked me into going, and I saw him there in all his glories. He sat down and was playing the piano. You know, by the way, this man plays just about every instrument there is. He is very, very talented.
But honey, you're getting beyond him.
You're too modest. I'd forgotten that he'd done these fabulous movies with Judy Garland and did these wonderful songs and played the piano. And there he was playing for me. So I snuggled up close to him and started humming, and he didn't pay a bit of attention to me. But we knew each other because we knew we shared the love of music.
And we shared a lot.
And I hummed along.
Was that the first time you saw him?
Well, actually not. I had seen him at the airport a few days prior to my meeting him, and I had said hello, but he was looking for someone, I was looking for the same person, and I asked him if that person was still in the airport, and he was kind of fluffing me off. He said, yeah.
I never said that to you.
Yes, I don't remember.
Did you feel the chemistry though?
Not at first. Only when I sat down next to him on that piano bench and my heart melted. And we saw each other a week or 2 later, just out of sheer accident. I went up to the same woman's house that he had been staying with as a visitor for a week or 2, and there he was. And we became fast friends, and the rest is history.
What were you doing though? I mean, you sing a storm, you must have been in the
Thank you,
business.
John. Yes, I've been in the business for quite some time.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, Warren Beatty had just recorded me with David Geffen about 6 months before I met Mickey, and had done some of my original songs, and I was quite thrilled. And Mickey heard those songs and asked if he could be my manager, and I said, I have a manager already, thank you. That was very sweet of you. But he secretly snuck around and took these songs of mine to some big agents. Well, I had no idea he was doing it, and I got a little upset at him, but I thought it was cute. He took me on the Johnny Carson audition that I knew nothing about, and I totally flubbed that and embarrassed me so badly, but his heart was in the right place. And I had no idea he was going to do that, and I just got so nervous. But he's a wonderful man, he's a wonderful husband.
How long had you known each other before he popped the question?
A couple weeks.
Didn't you have...
I don't wait around.
Yeah, I know that. If I could ask with great respect, didn't you feel any kind of qualms, maybe 2 weeks you'd known him, he asked you to marry him, and he's had 7 wives before?
Well, she has a secret that makes everything go right, no matter what happens. Why don't you tell your secret?
Well, first, can I tell him that you had a track record that I was a little worried about.
You mean because I lost $2 on a horse
No,
40 years ago?
no, that wasn't it.
Well, I've spent $1 million trying to win it back.
That's for sure.
But see, that's the secret, friends. Tell them the secret.
Well, yeah. Girls are never go to bed angry.
Are you kidding?
Never.
One day there, we didn't sleep for 6 months.
This is true.
No, we're happy to be with you on this wonderful cruise.
We sure are. We're having a ball. Hey, are you having a good time on this cruise as much as we are?
Hey, you two, it's not your first time on the ship. You did the Love Boat together, didn't you?
Yes, we did.
We actually did a love boat. Mickey, you tell them about the love boat.
With Donny Osmond and Keenan Wynn, Teresa Wright. She's played...
I was a nun, and not stereotype, I assure you.
but
And he was an angel in civilian clothes and plaid.
well, anyway,
And Donnie,
you were in Love Boat too.
Yeah.
Hey,
Love Boats.
that's fantastic.
Something.
Great fun then, because they used to bring the whole team on, and in fact, if I can interject a little story about it, in the early days of the Love Boat, when they used to do all the filming on the ship, they used to film in the background around the pools the actual passengers.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they would have these big stars, and they would be, the dialogue, and the passengers were in the background. Then they had to get release waivers from all the passengers.
Yes, I know that.
Imagine.
And many of the passengers at that time were on with their secretaries.
Well,
Signing the release, and they had to shoot the whole scene again. So after that, they would come on with like 150 extras who would sit around the pool and just have their picture on.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Right.
Good old days, huh? Now, what is the secret of a long and happy life? Mickey, tell us. You must have a secret, because you're still 16, aren't you?
well, I think it's respect.
Go on.
Genuine love
Yeah.
and honesty. So many people try to get out of things by not being honest. But be honest with your wife and listen to your wife, fellas out there, because if you listen, you'll learn and you'll get ahead.
Hey, somebody coached you before you went on, I think. That's pretty good. Yeah, well, I never know who I'm going to wake up with in the morning. Is it going to be Andy Hardy or Whitey Marsh or that guy in Mad World or the Black Stallion, the trainer? I never know who it's going to be.
In your 90-minute show, you do a lot of impressions, don't you? Does he practice these impressions?
Well, we're going to get it down. We find that people have had enough of 90 minutes. I think an hour is plenty.
Oh, in our
Gives
show.
us a chance to questions
Oh, but
and
they can't
answers.
get enough of you now, tell me that.
But anyway, we try and we've been doing this version of our show for about 5 years.
Right.
And
Launched it in Australia.
I did a picture for Walt Disney. I did Pete's Dragon
That's right.
and with Red Buttons and the wonderful lady, Shelley Wetters.
Shelley Wetters.
Yes, that's right.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Do you remember Bill? Who won an Emmy for Bill? What a fantastic television play.
Yes.
Well, Mickey, we asked the passengers if they wanted to ask you any questions, and some people have written their questions in here, so I'm going to just run through these. I don't know if we've covered some of the things that sorry. Okay, Clyde is asking, remember the MickeyRooney travelling Jeep shows in Europe during World War II?
Well, I think, yes, we talked about
Yeah,
that, didn't we?
talked
Yes,
about
Clyde,
that.
I remember the Jeep shows.
Yeah. And how well
Well,
did
we
you
might
know?
have a museum of the Jeep shows, too.
A museum of Jeep shows,
Yes, with the pictures showing us where we were
Yeah.
and what all these 158 men did.
And you're covering with your left arm a medal that you're wearing there.
I'm very proud of that. It's my Bronze Star. That
You learned that.
General Poland gave that to me with the rail splitters. And I'm very proud of it, yes. Proud to just be a veteran of foreign wars. I love our great country, but wars, nobody wins. Everybody loses.
Second part of Clyde's question here, Mickey. How well did you know Judy Garland?
Oh, come on. I've said it a million times. Judy Garland was one of the great entertainers of the world, but she unfortunately is no longer with us. But what a talent! And then of course she had Liza Minnelli. She married Vincent Minnelli. Judy did, and Liza Minnelli is a tremendous.
Really followed her mother's footsteps, didn't she?
Yes.
Yeah. Next question comes, no, it was written on the name on it. Anyway, they ask, as both of you look back on your life, what do you see now as most important in life?
Everything. I can answer for Jan and I think if you say, what's the most important thing? We never look back.
Oh, I do.
We always look forward. We always look forward. You can't get ahead by looking back.
Well, you have to learn from your mistakes, that's for sure.
Well, everybody makes mistakes, unfortunately, honey. Show me a man who says, I've never made a mistake, and I'll show you a real liar. Anybody.
Well, if I may answer, I just think that you mentioned honesty before, that's very important. May I ask who asked that question?
The Invisible Man.
Somebody raised their hand who might have asked that question?
No. Well, I guess he isn't here.
I just think that if you're going to be married, I think you have to have a team. You have to have teamwork, and one always is doing for the other. I don't think it should just be one-sided all the time. And
that's right.
I pretty much have that with this man here. He's a good guy.
Well,
he's a big help. And he cares, and I love that about him. And he's an old-fashioned guy, girls, and I like that.
Okay, we got one here from Kerry Ryan. Said, Mickey, how do you feel about today's violent, in-your-face movies?
Well, I don't want to be quoted by this, but I think that no one really cares for violent things. I think they like stories that they can attune themselves to, and when they go out of a theater, they can say, well, we really were entertained. You don't go out saying, I have to leave. I have to leave. But I think that Steven Spielberg does a lot of wonderful work in Hollywood today. But everything is so digital with pictures today. You say, well, what did I just see? You know? The cutting,
they aren't as real as
the cutting is so different than when we were making our pictures.
When you made pictures, you knew what you were making, but I guess these people today, they just do scenes and then it's spliced together.
There's a thing called MIL. Stands for Make It Last. So they make pictures in 3 years costing, I don't want to go into it how much they cost. And then they come back and they play for 4 days. And they're gone. And pictures are being made for children. Harry Potter's a great picture. But this and that, I think that they're not too adult. But they're great pictures. And the children are wonderful in it. But I would like to see the musicals come back.
Me too.
Yeah.
If you could get a lot of wonderful talented children around. And I'd like to see having youth step out, take a bow.
Yeah.
That's right. Ryan then, to finish up, said, what comedian did you find the most entertaining?
Well, I think that we're very normal. I think everybody loved Jack Benny, Phil Silvers, and they loved the great Sid Caesar.
Oh, yeah.
Who was in Mad Mad World with us. was a wonderful friend of ours,
We like Jonathan Winters, too.
Jonathan Winters. And I'll tell you who became a real actor in this day. Nobody really thought it would ever happen. But Jerry Lewis's partner,
Dean Martin.
Dean Martin.
Yeah,
Not only was he a singer, but he was a heck of an actor.
yeah.
Yeah. And
Some of
Jerry,
those guys came along together, wasn't it? And, you know, all singers, all actors, great actors. Even Sammy Davis Jr., a great actor as well, wasn't he?
yes, that's right. And when I found him, a funny thing, he said to me, I was on, my dressing room was on the stage, and I was with Judy, we were doing the show. And Sammy was with the Will Maston Trio. The Will Maston Trio. His uncle and his father and he were the dancers. And so he'd come down to my dressing room and he'd say, Mr. Rooney, I said, what are you talking about, Mr. Rooney? You know my name, Sam. What's the matter with you? He said, Mickey, I wanna act, and I just don't wanna be I wanna sing. I just don't wanna be a dancer. I wanna do imitations. I wanna do everything. I said, well, why don't you do it? He said, I'm black. I said, you are? I hadn't noticed.
Great story. Great story. So along the same lines, I think you already mentioned him earlier on. I think we know who your favourite actor is, but said, who did you find the most entertaining actor? Clark Gable, I guess, huh?
No, I got news for you. Not only, I think Fred Astaire, my
Fred
good friend
Astaire.
Fred Astaire.
You wouldn't think of him as an
How can
actor.
anybody ever think they can be another Fred Astaire? He danced with his hands. So inventive. He was, we'll never forget Fred Astaire.
Yeah. And when was the last...
Gene Kelly.
Gene Kelly, another,
Was
yeah.
magnificent.
And Donald O'Connor.
O'Connor, yeah.
You bet.
When was the last Andy Hardy movie filmed? And how old were you at the time? And did you figure you would continue on to become such a loved star?
That's a tough one to answer. I got news for you. Out of 22 Andy Hardy films, you can't pick one out and say, well, that's the one that did it. You know, I think that it was the tempo of the times, and people wanted family entertainment.
Now, Judy Garland and Mama Turner and Ann Rutherford, they all three
started.
They all worked with you and Andy Hardy.
Yes, in the Andy Hardy films.
You have been central to Hollywood for so many years and to the entertainment that we enjoy today, and you've given so many people so much happiness and fun over the years. Mickey, on behalf of everybody, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mickey Rooney, ladies and gentlemen, the great.
Thank you for coming. Have a nice day.
Mickey said if you would like to come up and have a picture done with your own cameras...
Right here, we'll stand down.
Well,
No, you'll be sitting down,
have a sit
sweetheart.
down on the seat. That's the best thing.
Hi there.
Yeah, yeah. Have a sit down.